So I've had this old motor sitting in the corner of my shop for 6-7 years. It's I believe, a early 1940s Chevy 216. So we got, looks like 102, 58, 0, 0, 35, and 65. Like I said, 4% chance running. Who cares? At least maybe 3 of you will find this entertaining. So let's dig in. See that spark? The intake is puddled fuel in it. That could get exciting. Probably a truck motor. Got the little push start thing there. I didn't really have much of a plan with this. It's a 216, which means it's got the low pressure oil pump, just Babbitt bearings. They're really not a very desirable engine. So I picked it up, I think, for 50 bucks. It was complete and everything, as you see it here. And that was when, shortly after I'd bought the record truck, the Mater looking thing, the 47. So I was looking for a engine for it. I didn't end up going with this one. I have 2 totally dead ones. Kind of makes me wonder if it's got a stuck valve or the rings could just be in that bad a shape. But this is probably going to be a stillborn idea. I did spin it over a long time ago. I think I recall pouring carburetor or fuel down the snoot there, and I don't remember doing anything other than a pop or 2. Totally random. You can see since then I or somebody has robbed a coil. There's no plugs in it, so to do a willet run I got to buy plugs because it's got the little bitty tiny small end spark plugs on them. So I don't know where they went. Must have thrown them away. But I'm gonna pull that rocker arm cover off and I guess pour a little bit of oil down the spark plug holes. Probably whack the valves, see if any of them are, stuck, audibly stuck. But I'll set you up and you can watch. So I've been kind of pondering what in the world I'm going to do with this, regardless of whether it runs or not, But I have no plans to use this in anything. Take some pressure off of that. I have no plans to use it in anything. I've got a later model 235 in the van, the record truck. Well, all the push rods are in place. I don't see any of the valves stuck all the way down. Nothing looks particularly rusted up. Oh man. Get my hammer. Inconclusive, I would say. Let me grab a battery and hook it up. Well, I got me a battery hooked up, as my grandpa would call it. Battery. I don't know if it's any good, but I'm going to give her a kick, see if she spins. Getting back to what I would do with this motor, probably I would end up just selling it, whether it runs or not. If it don't run, I thought about pulling the starter off, carb off, and distributor maybe. These 216s, nobody's rebuilding them. Well, all the valves are doing stuff. Doesn't appear to be any of them stuck. I'll do a compression test on them first with the cylinders dry, and see if I get anything. 60 psi roughly. Well, that starter kicked back pretty hard, you know. It loaded up heavy when it cranked against some pressure, even though it was only 60 psi. You can hear it. It'll kick down when it gets on the compression stirrup. 32. That's pretty much exactly what it was last time I checked it. You'd think it's just been sitting here. That popped. That cylinder I had written on there had nothing. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's pretty close to nothing. 10 psi maybe. That one ain't got a lick. Not a thing. Already losing my battery. This battery's real weak. What that? And we got it up to barely 30. Running out of battery. I'm confident that it's got what it had a year or so ago, or 5 years, or however long ago it was. I think it was about 6 or 7 years. That was the only good hole back then. You know, this weak battery, only a hit or two on it, it's at like 70. Okay, well, let me rig up my battery charger. I just so happen to have me a gooder battery sitting here handy. I don't know why I didn't put that in there the first time. I'm gonna squirt these valves a little, get a little on the guides. Or squirt right through the motor and squirt it on the floor. That works too. This battery will spin it over a lot quicker. I've got so much freaking junk the last couple of years, last year especially, I've started going through and liquidating. Okay, so I'm gonna run it through a few times just with that looby-dooby on there. Spins a little better now. Well, I shot some ATF down in there. You always wonder why a complete motor like this was pulled and then saved. Like, were they doing a V8 swap? I mean, what's the deal? So I'm gonna stuff it in this hole here, see what it does anything. I bumped that one up to 60. Try not to squirt it all over myself here. Yeah, that hole's totally dead. So, does it even have a piston in there? Who knows? They are, they're moving, so. Not sure what hold up there is. Now I kind of wish I had the dead battery on it again. Crank a little slower. Pumping it out, but it ain't making no PSIs. Hey dudes, it's the next day. Getting back on what's going to be probably betting on a losing horse kind of deal there. I bought a set of plugs, about, I don't know, 20 bucks worth, likely on an engine that's not going to run. But what the heck, you know, what do I got to lose? If I sell it, at least I want to know, you know, what I can tell the guy that wanted to buy it, which may be a hard sell anyways. I give this engine, if I'm being generous, 3 5%, 4% chance of running. So let's dig in again. I need to find out if the points are working. So I'll pop the cap off, rotate the thing around, probably clean them, because it definitely ain't gonna fire without that. So I'm gonna take a jumper wire, probably from the positive, directly to the coil, and see if we get a spark. I'm not gonna spin it over anymore because I put more transmission fluid in there. The only shot this motor has it running is if the ring's stuck or the valves just have some debris, dirt from setting on them, and they're not shutting all the way. All right, well, any of you who have watched my channel have likely watched other channels and watched guys do this 8 billion times, but do it anyways, because it is part of the process. Okay. I have to figure out what the firing order is again. Maybe just those old hard crunchy plugs. Okay, so we got no battery hooked up or anything right now. So what I need to do is rotate the engine around. The points are open and the gap looks to be about right. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick my sandpaper in there. I gotta make it smaller. Sand the points down. While the gap is open, I'll stick it in there and then rotate the engine around until it gets it off the lobe. It's literally right on the peak of one of the lobes. Well, if I can get it wedged in there anyways. Okay, open her up a little more. I also don't have a coil, so I have to go through my collection and try to find a coil. I'm just gonna stuff a 12 volt on there. The engine's a 6 volt system. Okay, so I'm gonna rotate this engine over, which is very, very easy with zero compression on most of the cylinders. Let's see. See if that's where it needs to be. Then I gotta remember to take this big breaker bar off the alternator. Well, it's a generator here. That'd be great. Hit that starter and throw that thing right at another car. That'd be good. And have to fix a big dent inside of a car on account of trying to start a $12 motor. That'd be good. Okay, let's cleaner these points a little bit. I'm gonna check just with a voltmeter, check for continuity across this wire and ground on the points plate, see if we're getting a ring out, if the points closed or open. Had a little black on them. Open it. Now I'm gonna blow dirt in my face. That's the old Mortsky flip. I don't know how he patented that idea or what, but people have been doing that for years. Okay, I wish he'd make some shorter videos. I like watching like hour ones. A lot of his are like 2 hours now. I don't know, my attention span's too short. All right, I got my fluke meter there set on the ohms setting. So right now, if I touch this and this, it should ring out because we're getting contact. This connector is kind of rusty, so I don't know how that's gonna go. Probably be a good idea to replace this connector, but let's see. Okay, so we're getting continuity. Okay, well, a couple things I wanted to show you. These early Chevy motors have these spark plugs that have this ridiculously small head. I mean, that thing's like 10 millimeters or something wide and just what appears to be about 4 threads deep. I mean, little bitty. So I bought 15 bucks worth of spark plugs to probably find out that this motor ain't gonna hit a lick. And if it does, it'll be about a inline 2. And so I'll pull these plugs out and I'll put them on a shelf probably for the next time I need to get one moving, an old 216, and then I'll forget to have them and buy another set. I got a coil in here that I think is good. Not positive. I've got this wire connected. We know that rings out. So I'm gonna jumper hot straight from the main battery post here to here, and I'm going to open the points. And if the points are working, they'll pop across here and they'll shoot a spark there. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we got voltage there. Got some sparky parky there. Lots of sparky. That's a full 12 volts, by the way, on a freshly charged battery. So, get my screwdriver, see if she sparks. I gotta do it in just the right spot, or I'll just ground it out across down here. See that spark? That's a good hot spark, so we know that part's gonna work at least. Well, time to put the cap back on. Fortunately, the original wires on here, of which most of them are there, will allow me to be able to pretty plainly see which goes where. Okay. Doesn't seem, oh. I can't tell exactly where this cap goes. Okay, that seems like it's happy. Ow, snapped my finger. Okay, so this one clearly goes here. Good Lord, that's tight. Man, that boot is absolutely dried up. I say that like I'm surprised. All right. Okay, that one obviously goes here. These two, I don't know. These were ones that don't match, so I have to look up the firing order. I'll hook those up and put the coil wire on and bring you back when we get to the pouring gas in it stage. Well, I got my fire extinguisher. I got my hot sauce mix. Got some oil, some 2-stroke, some gas. I'm gonna pour a little oil on the top of the push rod tubes, down the hole into the lifters. She's low on oil anyways, but like I said, I have no expectation that it's gonna run. But this is likely gonna be the only time this motor ever has an opportunity to start even. If it doesn't start, I'll either put it up for sale, a complete whole unit, and with the understanding that it has no possibility of running. So that way nobody thinks that they're just gonna buy this and drop it in a truck and go, because that ain't happening more likely. Okay, I'm gonna hook my coil up after I pull the air breather off, pour a little hot sauce down her. I predict we get a bang, a pop every once in a while, but I also predict that's all we get. Probably gonna be pretty loud too if it does pop. Need a rag. All right, make sure you guys are turned on. Pour some down the throat here. A little more. Also got this plug here undone. It's gonna be a big vacuum leak. All right, let me clock this a little. Plug your ears. Wasn't very dramatic there, was it? Got to be careful doing this because that coil wired in potentially start a fire in the intake. Throw a little choke at her. popped right off. Good quality stuff there. Not that it matters. Choker. Maybe give her some throttle. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Sounds good, don't it? All right. Make sure my Dizzy is doing something. Let's see. I'm gonna lay my good screwdriver there. Where can I put it? I guess there. Huh. Don't look like it's sparking. Let me grab a spark plug. All right, so I checked for spark. It was a little bit intermittent, but it seems to be sparking on most of the holes. I guess I'll give her a snort of starting fluid. Got a little bit more gusto than gasoline. Okay. The intake is puddled fuel in it. That could get exciting. That could get cool and exciting. Yeah, a little bit more actionable intelligence there. Well, that's crazy. I literally cannot believe that happened. That is insane. Y'all see that? That's crazy. I cannot believe that thing started. Not on gas, of course, but I'm gonna give her another sniff. We'll have to move this operation outside. This is smoky. I'm gonna make sure you're still recording. Smells like a two-stroke. Hey, she might just go. We're gonna pick this up and take it outside. That'll be fun. All right, so I really wasn't prepared for this thing to actually run. So I plugged the port. I'm gonna squirt a little brake cleaner into the fuel inlet. Typically with a motor, especially if you're down on compression, pouring gas, especially with this early style engines where the intakes are flat, the fuel will just puddle in the intakes. So it's better off, since the engine's a little low on vacuum, it's not making good signal to the carburetor. Well, I'll tell you how hot it is. I was out here for 5 minutes and that camera overheat and shut off. Anyways, like I was saying, with a low engine that doesn't have a strong vacuum signal from low compression, it works best if the fuel goes through the carburetor, because it'll get what vacuum there is, will pull it in, and it'll be atomized and will be basically suspended, the fuel particles, and that'll allow it to run, you know, as opposed to trying to just pull vapors and pull fuel that's puddled on top of the bottom of the intake runner. Not to mention a backfire with fuel puddled in there can and have a problem, like old Mortsky in his intro video. Stuff like that happens. So I'm going to squirt some brake clean into the inlet for the fuel, because it's probably not had anything in it in 30 years. And I'm going to hook this hose up and kind of try to fuel that bowl up. I'm not going to hook up like a tank to it, because more than likely this needle seat's not going to work. But I'm going to see if I can squirt this in my eyeballs. That ought to do it. Don't know if anything actually got in there or not. But alright. She's gonna smoke like crazy if it stays running. Shoot. Be easier to sell now. For now I kinda wanna keep it. The life of a car guy. I know I'm not gonna use it for anything, but now I want to keep it because I know it runs. I know it wanted to. Coil's hot. Ooh, is it pressurized? Give her a drink. This is a pretty potent mixture of stuff I'm pouring in. Fail. Let's try the pour it in here method. Oh God, pouring gas all over the ground. Got my fire extinguisher and everything. I put oil and trans fluid in it, get it up to the dipstick at least. Now starter ain't engaging. Starter's not happy. Throwout bearing there. I think some of that was just bypassing right into the intake. It wants to so bad. Where I'll be. Not using no ether at that point, that last start. Could be flooded, could be out of fuel again, could be burnt up. Could have kicked the coil out. Alright, so I checked for spark and we'd lost our spark. Coil wire from the negative to the distributor, negative on the coil to the distributor, was getting no voltage. Checked for spark, wasn't doing anything, so I'm gonna put this guy on there and try again. Alright, now that I've likely flooded the crap out of it, we'll get back to seeing if it'll start. Before I jiggled that wire and it hit for a second. We got a spark there again. I bet it runs again. Always got to check your electricals. Got it back to hitting. Oh, I'm also grounding my coil out here on the starter. primed her up. We got fire again. Started puking oil out of that broke off cooler line. It's back feeding up. So this already has a low pressure oil system, so I don't want to run it low, and I don't feel like fixing that. It's supposed to have a line from there to there, but we'll let it run again for a few minutes, or seconds rather, and call that a day. It's hot out here. I should be working, but this is so much fun. So without further ado, let's give her another shot. For a little assistance with the old ether. All right. That's just incredible. Well, guys, sorry. I gotta admit, I am absolutely speechless that junk started. I would have given that thing, I did give that thing, if you go back and look, about a 95% chance or 96% chance that it wouldn't do anything but hit and miss a couple of times and into the show. That's just incredible. I guarantee you this thing has not run in any vehicle in 40 years. I bought it from a guy 7-8 years ago that had been stored at his place for at least 20 years. He had no idea even what it came out of. So I have done, as far as work, I put a coil wire on it, I put a coil in it, plugs, and one wire. Nothing else. Didn't even take the carburetor apart. That's just amazing. That motor, like I said, is probably around a 1940 model. Just goes to show you, you can never count something out. Even if you think you're right and you know it all. Now I don't want to throw it away. But what would I ever do with it? I don't know. But anyways, I got to get back doing some work. It's almost 11 o'clock and I've only worked about an hour today, and I started at 7:30. Been piddling with this and went to the parts store. Anyways, if you like this kind of stuff, I'd really appreciate it if you'd excuse me for eating cookies in your face. I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, share, tell your buddies about me. Hit the little bell button so you'll know that I pop something else out. Every Wednesday I do, and if I get too many videos saved up that aren't published yet, I'll drop one during the week, some other time. But I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.